You walk into the grocery store, grab the usual items, and head to the register. And when that total pops up on the screen, you stand there thinking there is simply no way. You're not imagining the number. Grocery prices in America are up nearly 30% since 2020. That means the same $200 grocery run that fed your family 5 years ago now costs you $260. Look at the 2025 data. Ground beef is up 17%, coffee jumped over 20%, orange juice spiked a massive 25%. You feel those specific hits every time you reach the checkout line. More than half of Americans say grocery prices are their single biggest source of financial stress, surpassing the weight of their rent, the cost of healthcare, and student loans. While politicians promised to fix this and failed, the actual numbers on your receipt are driven by a set of corporate systems that haven't stopped expanding since the global supply chain stabilized. This graph shows the baseline. For decades, food inflation in America was a highly predictable, manageable 2% per year. Then 2020 shattered that stability. The pandemic broke our most reliable supply chains, abruptly emptying shelves and driving prices up as the system cracked. In 2022, the Russian invasion of Ukraine sent another shock through the system. Ukraine is a global power in wheat production, and that conflict sent grain prices soaring for anything made with flour. Then came the avian flu. This disease wiped out tens of millions of egg-laying hens across the country, causing egg prices to spike nearly 50% at their peak. These crises were completely real, and they caused initial price spikes. But they failed to explain why your grocery bill never went backward once the hens were replaced and the shipping containers started moving again. This dual line graph reveals a mathematical anomaly. The bottom line tracks the actual rise in supply chain costs, but the top line shows corporate profit margins. During the same period that families struggled to budget, those margins expanded to record highs. The major food manufacturers, corporations like Tyson Foods, Kraft Heinz, and General Mills, posted record profits while their customers absorbed the cost of the crisis. This is greedflation. Companies used the cover of real, temporary inflation to raise prices far beyond what their costs required and pocketed the difference. When inflation slows down, prices don't return to where they started. The new inflated price simply becomes the new normal that you absorb every single week. When corporations decide not to raise the sticker price further, they use shrinkflation. You pay the exact same price for a box of cereal, but the box is quietly thinner and the contents are lighter. It creates a permanent value loss for the consumer. Because the price tag looks the same, your brain doesn't register the extraction occurring in your cart. On top of that, heavy import tariffs act as an invisible tax on the baseline cost of nearly everything in the store. Tariffs on packaging, farming equipment, and raw ingredients directly inflate the cost of producing food here in America. Between greedflation, shrinkflation, and broad tariffs, the consumer is being systematically squeezed from angles that have nothing to do with global supply chain health. Why can these corporations successfully enforce these pricing tactics without losing their customers to a cheaper competitor? The answer is market consolidation. A shrinking handful of massive retail and manufacturing giants now control the vast majority of what fills the shelves. Mega mergers and retail buyouts have eliminated local competition. Fewer independent stores means there's less pressure on the remaining giants to keep their prices competitive. Rural America is the ultimate proof of this monopoly dynamic. In areas where there are zero alternatives for shopping, markups are even more extreme. This chart shows the disparity. Grocery inflation in rural towns is running at nearly 8%, significantly higher than the sub-6% rate in major cities. When corporate consolidation eliminates local competition, consumers lose all their leverage. You pay whatever price the system dictates. Food is the most basic human necessity. The fact it is now a primary source of financial stress for over half the country is a symptom of a much deeper structural problem. The permanent climb in the cost of food is the output of a highly engineered, deliberately consolidated corporate machine. You sit at the end of an extractive chain designed to maximize profit while minimizing product. The math is complicated, but the outcome is exactly what those record profit margins suggest.